Plain no more, she's got new flair. From short and dull to bold blue hair. Once a donor, now she's fly. This purple top girl's reaching sky high. Hi friends, today we're giving the purple top made to Move Barbie a total transformation. This doll's usually passed over as just a body donor, but not today. With her short brown hair and plain face, she was just a blank canvas waiting for a glow up. The first step is to dunk her head in near boiling water to soften it and the peg inside so that we can easily remove it without damaging the net peg. Then we'll start by shaving her hair and rerooting it with 18-inch long strands of sleek, straight blue and black nylon hair. It takes about 4 hours, but it's totally worth it. Okay, we've waited about a minute. Both the head and the neck peg inside should be nice and soft. If we just grasp her head firmly and pull, it should just come right off. I've mentioned this before, but I really prefer using the boiling water method because it softens not just the head, but the peg inside the head. And the only purpose for that peg and the prongs is to make it harder to remove so kids don't yank the head off. I don't want that. I want the head easier to remove in case this doesn't work out and I want to use her body for something else, whatever. Anyways, I like to make it easier get the head off and on. I also like to use a razor to shave all of the hair off. The rubber bands that come with these dolls last way longer than the ones that I can buy. After a few months, the ones I can buy are already dead and gone. But the ones that come on the dolls last at least a few years before they corrode and become useless. So keep that in mind, save those. The razor makes it easier for me to shave her hair really nice and close to the head so that it'll be easier to scrape the plugs out. And it also stops me from accidentally cutting and damaging the head with my scissors, which has happened in the past before I started using the clippers. Now that her head has been shaved clear, we're ready to scrape the stubble inside of the head. And then I'll be using the pliers that I got from Doll Planet to scrape those out. It looks like the blue color is from Shimmer Locks. It's their sapphire. And the black, I think, is Raven Black, possibly also from Shimmer Locks. I originally started buying hair from Shimmer Locks, and then there were certain things I wanted that they didn't have. I ended up over on Doll Planet, and then I kind of switch back and forth. If I'm looking for something particular, I know I was looking for a bunch of different shades of red, and I found that Shimmer Locks had a larger variety of red hair, so I chose that. You can use your pliers to scrape the plugs out. I find for me the flathead screwdriver works better. Sometimes I accidentally punch through the holes and create a big rip in the doll head when I'm trying to scrape with the pliers, mostly because I'm impatient and I'm rushing through this part, which, while I believe is satisfying to watch, it's not the most fun part. The most fun part for me is being done and seeing her all done. And speaking of which, I've been watching hairstyling videos, trying to come up with some fun and interesting hairstyles. It started because I was working on a drag queen doll collab that'll be coming out in the next couple weeks with a few other channels. And I wanted to do a really fancy, big, updo hairstyle. So I've been watching videos like that on YouTube. It's totally changed my viewing. It thinks I'm getting married now because I've been looking up these wedding hairdos. Whatever. Anyway, so I'm hoping it will help level up my doll hair game. I think it's just a lot easier to get the last few small little plugs out with water instead of digging in there. So let's do that. The other thing that I noticed while I was working on the doll head is that it did have a split at the front where 3 of the holes had joined into one small crack. I've mentioned my impatience before. For better or worse, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to seal it with the stuff. We'll cut to that in just a second. You're supposed to seal it with the stuff and let it sit for 24 hours before you touch it or mess with it at all. I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait. So since it's really small, I seal it, I cover it with some tape, and I just keep going. And then when I get up to that area, I remove the tape. Everything seems okay. it was not a good decision, and I'm surprised I got away with it. What I thought I might need to do was that I might need to just finish everything but that, seal it, let it dry, and then go back. It's a bad decision though. I've done that before, and then sometimes the glue gets in with the hair, and anyway, it works out fine though. This is the smallest crack I've ever had. I think that is probably why I got away with it. And that during the 4 hours I spent working on this, it was taped shut and I wasn't interfering with it. So it did get at least 4 hours to try to cure. I don't know what happened to the lid for this either. I hope my cat finds it. Usually when I lose the cap or the lid or a doll purse or sunglasses or something, and then later I'll find my cat playing with it. That actually just happened yesterday. She was having so much fun with something. I was like, oh, what did she find? Oh, that doll purse that I couldn't find. She did. She's playing with it. And I already started the rooting without you. I thought that might be nice if I just already had made some progress during this 4-hour thing. I wanted to try to imitate something similar to that wig that had the blue with the shorter black over the top and create that kind of an effect. I did not create that kind of effect, but I did create something that was pretty, that I liked and was interesting. And that's one of the reasons, something that I'm shooting for when I'm doing these projects. I've started looking up inspiration pictures to just look at different human beings that have different hair color combinations to see if that can help me come up with some interesting rooting patterns, so that it's just more interesting than rooting in just all blue hair. So I root in blue hair all the way up to the crown, and then I fill in the crown and the part line with the black hair. But because of the way I've pulled the hairstyle back, all we're really seeing from the front is mostly blue. So there's that, but yeah, it's fun. I like it. I tried a couple different hairstyles for her. So I sped this up to 10 times normal speed. I just think that's fun to watch. And you actually get to see some progress made. Got the little timer over in the corner. You can see it ticking away. We don't get too much done in 5 minutes since this is pretty much a 4-hour process. I do appreciate that at least this blue hair was separating itself into plugs. You can see where I've dropped it on the table, that there's little strands separated out. I'm filling in at least all of the plugs that are there and then adding more hair where it looks like the plugs or the rows are too far apart. Similar to my Ida Wells project. Since her hair was very sparsely rooted with textured hair, she had almost no holes in her head. And that ridiculous painted widow's peak. I don't know if you saw that video. I'm thinking it'll be airing before this one, since I've already finished editing that one and I'm still working on editing this one. Why don't we speed this up to 10 times normal speed? I love watching that in time lapse, and I hope you do too. I'll finish working around the crown of the head with the black hair for the 5 minutes that we have here. And then with the time that I have left, I'm sure I'll finish the whole head, and we'll meet back here with the Fabri-Tac glue. I use just a small amount of Fabri-Tac glue, squeeze it around inside the head. I let it sit for about 2 hours and then do a tacky test inside. Most people recommend leaving it overnight, so you might want to also do that. And then here we are. The makeup was really challenging for me. I definitely don't feel that I'm able to teach anybody how to do it. I made lots of mistakes. I wiped them off. I painted, I wiped off, I painted and wiped off until I had something that I thought looked nice and as even as I was going to get with the blue eyeshadow. I went thick at the outer edges of the eye, but I went all the way around the eye, inspired by a couple of the You Create Barbie Basics dolls that came with bold eyeshadow and eyeliner. All right, she's all done. I put her back in the outfit that she had on. I actually had her just hanging out at my office on one of the shelves on display. A good look at her makeup, lashes, and hair. And get a 360-degree look. Let's try her in the next outfit. This outfit or dress is from Marianne's Doll Boutique. And I thought with all the different shades of blue, it would be perfect with her eyeshadow and her hair. I just wasn't sure it was quite right for her. So then I put on this outfit that I made from cutting apart and recreating one of the You Create Barbie Basics dresses. Once overlooked, now she's a star, with lashes long and hair that's far. No donor here, she's front of stage. This Barbie's beauty owns the page. Thanks you so much for watching this transformation. I had so much fun giving this doll the glow up I think she deserved, and I hope you enjoyed watching her journey from basic to bold just as much as I did. If you liked this makeover, let me know in the comments. Would you try a reroot like this? Have you ever rescued a donor doll and turned her into a star? I would love to hear your stories, tips, or even makeover ideas for future videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next restyle. See you soon. Thanks for watching, and as always, please have a wonderful day.